Have you ever noticed how loud life is? The constant chatter of your thoughts, the pinging of notifications, the noise of daily responsibilities pulling you in every direction. It's like your mind is never truly quiet, always racing, always talking. But what if I told you there's a power in silence, a power that can change the way you live, the way you think, and even the way you feel? Today, we're going to talk about the power of silence and how quiet reflection can help you transform your life in ways you never thought possible. Stay with me until the end, because I'm going to give you a practical way to start harnessing that power today. Let's start by acknowledging something we all experience but rarely stop to think about. Noise. Not just the noise around us, car horns, chatter, digital alerts, but the noise within us. Our minds are rarely still. They're constantly racing, processing thoughts, worries, ideas, to-do lists, and what-ifs. We've become so accustomed to this constant activity that we've forgotten what real quiet feels like. Here's the reality. In today's hyper-connected world, silence is almost a luxury. We wake up to the sound of our alarms, check our phones before we've even gotten out of bed, and spend our days bombarded by information, social media, news, work emails, and more. Even when we think we're relaxing, there's noise, background music, TV shows, or the buzz of a conversation happening somewhere nearby. But it's not just external noise. There's another kind of noise we carry around with us everywhere we go. Mental noise. You know what I'm talking about? The thoughts that constantly run through your mind. The overthinking. The second guessing. The endless loop of ideas that seem to never stop. When was the last time you experienced real, deep silence? And I don't mean a momentary break in the external noise. I mean a genuine quiet, both inside and out. Throughout history, silence has been a cornerstone of personal transformation. It's a practice that spans across cultures, religions, and philosophies. In fact, some of the world's most influential thinkers and spiritual leaders have discovered the profound power of silence. Take, for example, monks who take vows of silence for years, sometimes for their entire lives. For them, silence isn't about punishment or isolation. It's about creating space for something deeper. It's about hearing the whispers of wisdom that can only come when the noise of everyday life is stripped away. In ancient India, silence was seen as a way to connect with the divine. Silence is called mauna in Sanskrit, and it's considered a powerful practice for self-realization. The idea was that the more you can quiet the external and internal chatter, the closer you come to understanding your true self. In Western culture, too, we've had examples of silence being used for deep reflection and transformation. Take the transcendentalist Henry David Thoreau, who isolated himself in the woods at Walden Pond. Thoreau believed that only by retreating into silence could we truly understand life and ourselves. In the words of philosopher Blaise Pascal, all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. Even modern-day psychologists and neuroscientists are rediscovering the value of silence. Research shows that periods of silence can reduce stress, improve focus, and enhance creativity. Silence doesn't just give us a break from the noise of the world, it actively enhances our cognitive abilities. Now, let me share a personal story about my own discovery of silence. A few years ago, I found myself overwhelmed. My life was filled with noise, work deadlines, social commitments, and, perhaps the loudest of all, the constant background noise in my head. I felt like I was constantly on the move, constantly doing something. But despite how busy I was, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was missing. One day, almost out of frustration, I decided to try something different. I turned off my phone, found a quiet place in my home, and just sat in silence. At first, it felt unnatural. My mind raced. I kept thinking about all the things I needed to do, the people I needed to call, the tasks I hadn't finished. But I stuck with it, and something incredible happened. Slowly, the noise in my mind started to fade. I began to feel a sense of calm that I hadn't felt in years. The thoughts that had been swirling in my head began to settle, like dust floating to the ground. And in that quiet space, I started to hear something I hadn't listened to in a long time, my own inner voice. That day changed everything for me. It was like I had found a key to a hidden room inside my mind, a room that was always there but had been buried under the noise of life. And in that room, I found clarity, focus, and a deep sense of peace. But why is silence so powerful? What's happening in your brain when you allow yourself those moments of quiet reflection? Researchers have found that silence actually helps your brain grow. Studies show that periods of silence stimulate the growth of new cells in the hippocampus, the part of your brain responsible for memory, learning, and emotion. In other words, silence can help you think more clearly, process your emotions better, and even improve your memory. When your brain is constantly processing information, whether it's the notifications on your phone or the thoughts racing through your mind, it's in a state of overactivity. This can lead to mental fatigue, decision-making fatigue, and even stress. But when you give your brain a break through silence, it has a chance to rest and repair itself. One fascinating study published in the journal Brain, Structure, and Function found that silence is more effective than relaxing music at regenerating brain cells. Silence literally helps your brain recover and rejuvenate. Silence isn't just about turning down the volume on the outside world. It's about creating space for reflection. When you allow yourself to be quiet, you give yourself the opportunity to reflect on your life, your thoughts, and your emotions. Think about it. How often do you take time to reflect on your day, your week, or your life? Reflection is the key to personal growth, but it's something we often neglect. We're so busy moving from one task to the next, from one distraction to another, that we don't take the time to stop and ask ourselves the big questions. What do I really want? What's truly important to me? What am I feeling right now? What am I avoiding? Quiet reflection allows you to confront these questions in a way that's gentle but profound. It gives you the space to process your emotions, to think through problems, and to gain insight into yourself. So, how can you start incorporating the power of silence into your own life? It's simpler than you might think. Let me walk you through a few practical steps you can begin today. Step 1. Start small. You don't need to sit in silence for hours to experience its benefits. Start with just 5 minutes a day. Turn off your phone. Find a quiet space and just sit. Focus on your breathing. Notice your thoughts and let them come and go without judgment. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but stick with it. Step 2. Take silent walks. Leave your headphones at home. Walk in nature or around your neighborhood in complete silence. Use this time to observe your surroundings and let your mind wander. You'll be surprised how refreshing a quiet walk can be. Step 3. Journal in silence. After a few minutes of quiet reflection, take out a notebook and write down whatever comes to mind. Don't overthink it. Just let your thoughts flow. This can help you process your feelings and gain clarity on your thoughts. Step 4. Disconnect regularly. Make it a habit to disconnect from technology. No phone, no TV, no distractions. Use this time to simply be with yourself. You'd be surprised how refreshing a short digital detox can be. In a world that's constantly noisy, silence is your superpower. It gives you the space to reflect, to connect with yourself, and to find clarity in the chaos. The more you practice it, the more you'll find that silence isn't empty. It's full of insight, full of answers, and full of peace. So today, I encourage you to take a moment of silence. Reflect on what's going on in your life, in your mind, and in your heart. And remember, the answers you're looking for may not be out there. They may be waiting in the quiet within. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might need a little more quiet in their life. And before you go, let me know in the comments, how do you incorporate silence into your daily routine? Or is it something you struggle with? Let's have a conversation about it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.